Okay. Good day, everybody, and thanks for joining today's webinar on data management for Solidworks. This webinar is about how all your Solidworks data and files can be managed in a controlled PLM environment that is and can be set and customized to follow your business processes. It keeps all the history trail about your informations and the processes that were created against any product data that is in the system. For example, you can easily track and review who approved a specific promotion request for a specific product and what sort of information was captured during that promotion process. So all that information is contained in the system and is accessible to everyone who's got access to that data. And it also controls access permissions to that data as well. So for an example, if we want the manufacturing team to be able to access our data once it's released, we can enforce that sort of access permission so that they don't see the data while we're still working on it. They will only get to see that data right at the end. Yeah. Just a note that all attendees are in listen-only mode, and we will take questions right at the end of the webinar. So if you have any question during the session, please start typing it into the webinar questions section in the webinar panel here, and I will definitely attend to those questions at the end. Right, so just to go through the agenda for this webinar, I will do a quick introductions of boundary systems and myself, and we'll cover these topics here listed here. So the topics covers the workgroup manager, WGM. So WGM is basically a tool that sort of integrates Solidworks with Windchill. So we'll discuss more about that and sort of how the workings of this, the checking in and out of the data works, the sort of searches you can also do in there, and the save as options that you have in the system. And I'll go do the actual demonstration of the software. And as I've said, we will then attend to the questions at the end. My name is Ifram Boye. I am a PLM specialist at Boundary Systems with over 6 years experience on PDC products, specifically Windchill, so the PLM side of it. I am certified Windchill implementer and trainer. Now about Boundary Systems. We regard ourselves as the technology leader, and we partner with PDC and some other software companies like Solid Thinking, Autodesk, eDrive, to make sure that we deliver a comprehensive solution to our customers. We are number 16 fastest growing private company in Greater Cleveland area, and also part of a PDSVISION group of global companies. So if you look at the map here on the right, this is where all the companies, the PDS companies, are located. So I am based in South Africa. That is where I'm working from, but we cover all those time zones in terms of support, implementations, and so on. The capabilities that we offer are in product lifecycle management, data management. We also assist with CAD designs and consultings, simulations, and product development. So things like assisting our customers with the best practices and so on. Right. Then a bit more about boundaries. So as I've said, we have PDC as our main partner, but we also partner with other companies that are listed on the slides here to make sure that we cover all our customers requirements. So some of the tools here complements Windchill in also addressing our customers' concerns or questions. Right, so after the webinar, if you have any technical questions about the topic today, you can reach out directly to me at epoeng@boundarysys.com. Any sales queries, sales@boundarysys.com. So if you need any demonstration or you are interested in having a further discussion on a specific topic, yeah, you can just email out sales@boundarysys.com, or you can visit our website, boundarysys.com, or also our YouTube channel. It's just called Boundary Systems. If you search for Boundary Systems, you should be able to get to that in YouTube. And that is where this video or this recording for today will also be uploaded in by tomorrow. Right, so getting into the actual topic of today, I want to start off by again explaining what a workgroup manager is. So workgroup manager is basically a tool used to integrate the Windchill PLM system with the CAD tool Solidworks. So that's basically what it does. And the actual software component of it can be downloaded from the PDC website. You just search for the version that relates to your Windchill version, and you simply install that version and then link it to your Solidworks. Or obviously, when you get to the demo, show you how you actually go about doing that. And a workgroup manager has got what we call a configuration file that it then uses. So configuration file is basically an initialization file that Solidworks workgroup manager uses to basically set some settings that you would need for Solidworks or you will need for workgroup manager in general. For an example, when the workgroup manager loads, it loads with the web browser embedded in it. You can basically set which browser it should use for embedding. If you're comfortable with working with Chrome, you can set it to use Chrome, or if by default it uses Internet Explorer. You can also set things like the default internet page that it loads. Most of the customers would, our customers would normally use the intranet, say a default load page, but you can set it to any internet page. So when you open up this, it loads that page automatically in there. And then in this initialization file, there's also Solidworks specific settings that you can set in here. For an example, if you checking in your Solidworks file that has got a drawing, if I want that to automatically check in the part that relates to that as well, I can set a setting on here that does that. Or if I have created a DXF file or a PDF file that goes with my Solidworks file, and I want to make sure that when I check in my Solidworks part, it also attaches this PDF to the Solidworks file in Windchill. This is where I would normally set those settings in. And then the next thing on the list would be the cache settings. So how the data that's been checked out to Windchill is actually managed in the workgroup manager. So you can basically set a local cache where when you open up this model from Windchill in Solidworks, it then makes a copy of that and put it locally on your machine. And the advantage for having it locally is, of course, to get the best performance because the file is locally on the machine. It's easy to open it up, it's easy to save the file and so on. And once you've completed your changes and saved the file, you can either upload it onto the server side or check it back into Windchill so that the changes are now shared with the other users. So there's a couple of sort of system environment variables that we set to make sure that we get to that best performance. All right. And then the next big thing with managing this data in the PLM tool, which I think is a very powerful thing for me, is the Excel search. A lot of time, whether you're using the normal Windows file system, you most often than not, you would search for information rather than browse into it. But the disadvantage of doing it over a Windows sort of file explorer is that you can only search based on a name. So you need to know the exact name of the file that you're searching for to be able to do that. But the PLM tool or the Windchill PLM tool gives you the option to set what type of a file you're looking for, whether you're looking for a document or a Solidworks chat document, and which directory you're searching in, and you can then go and specify the attribute that you're searching against. So if I don't know the file name and number, but I know a certain keyword in the description, I can actually search the system using the description parameter. Or if I know that the file that I'm searching for starts with a certain number or starts with a certain characters, and it is also in a specific state, it's released or it's in work, I can also search against that. Then filters it down to just that. And it also allows you to search using the wildcards like percentage and asterisk. So if you know what the thing starts with, you can just specify that, then the asterisk at the end. If you know what it ends with, you put the asterisk before and then whatever word it ends with. Same with the example below here. We know we've got the number in the system that ends with number 78. Maybe 78 relates to a certain thing in the whole system, product system. So we know it ends with 78, but we don't know the first three numbers of the part. You can just use 3 question marks to be a sort of a replacement for those 3 numbers, and then you put that last number that you know, and it will return all the items that have 78 at the end. And the power to this is that once I've got this search, and this is the search that I know I will also use in the future, and this is the search that can benefit other team members. I can basically save the search and then share it with other team members as well. Then if I want to rerun the search, I'll just go to the saved search portion of the system, and then I'll be able to rerun the search. Then the other thing, more especially with variants, when we have a couple of variants, or you want to play with different ideas of a product, the one powerful thing that we would normally do would be to save an existing model as, so that we sort of still have the old model, but we'd go and save this one as, and then we would basically go and change the obviously the name to be different to the original model. The way you do it in the file explorer environment is you do a save as, and you have to go and just make sure that you rename all the components that falls under that particular assembly, for an example. So in Windchill, when you do the save as, you've got utilities that can assist you to just quickly rename all the assemblies, sub-assemblies, and the components that are part of this assembly that we are saving as. So if we look at this example here, we've got an assembly, an original assembly here, and what we're basically doing is we're saving it as, and we're basically saying wherever there is an engine in the assembly name, just change that engine to engine -100 or -1000. So this would be a new variant of this. And once this is now saved, you will see all those components that starts with engine or that has got engine in it. They are now being renamed to that new name. So this is very a powerful function of basically just renaming the files. So at this stage, I'm gonna go ahead and just show you the actual tool. So the first thing that I mentioned was to make sure that you have best performance on this, you have to basically go and set the cache. So to set the cache, you'll normally go to your systems environment variables, place this right here, and then you basically go and set this attributes here or this system variables here to point to a specific location on my local machine. So in my case, all these three variables are pointing to cptc cache_mw, and so they will be writing all my cache to this folder to allow for that best performance in terms of modifying, opening, and saving the assemblies. So that's what you'll do. And then this is the Workgroup Manager software that has been installed. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up. So this is how it looks. So at this stage, or in my case, I've just set the embedded browser that you can set to your intranet or whatever internet page. I've set it to blank. So when it loads, it don't load anything in here. And the first thing that I will go and do would be to make sure that I register my Solidworks with the Workgroup Manager. I do that by just clicking on the Tools menu and the firstly, I will just register it with the server itself, the Windchill server. And then it is, because mine is already registered, I will go ahead and just put in my login details. And then in a short while, it will bring up the server manager. So this is where I would go and register my Windchill server. So I've got mine registered, and then it is at this stage set as a primary server. But to register a server, you'd go to the server menu at the top here, and then register new server. Then what you do is you give your server an alias name. So the name that you just give to be able to remember the server name. In my case, I've given it Windchill 11.2, which is the version that I'm running, the Windchill version that I'm running on the server. And you'd go put in the location, which is the URL to the Windchill server. So Windchill is web-based. You can access it just using the web browser on there. And then lastly, I'll then go and just select the workspace that I will be working in. So the workspace simply facilitates communication between SolidWorks and Windchill. That's all it does. It's your private working space. And so once you've done that, you'll go and set the server as a primary server. And once you've done that, on the left side here, Windchill will list a Windchill common space and a workspace. So a Windchill common space is just a Windchill environment. So if I click on it, you'll see it loads Windchill page in here. So if I go to, just to explain how Windchill works, I'm just going to expand and navigate on the side here and go to browse. So the way Windchill stores information, it stores it in what we call Windchill context. So you've got a product context. So this stores information that relates to a specific product. And then you also have a library context on here. So library, that's where you store your nuts and bolts, fasteners, and so on. So files that can be reused across different products, you normally put them in the library context. And so at this stage, I will go and just expand the product that I have here. And to go look at the actual files, I'll then go to the folder link, which takes me to the folder access of this product. And then in this folder, this is where my files have been stored. So I am looking for the CAD files, solid CAD files. So I'm going to go and quickly filter my view to only show me what I'm looking for, only CAD files. And there it goes and lists all the CAD files that I have in here. So it is all the SolidWorks files, and this is the SolidWorks assembly at the bottom here. So at this stage, I can go and just add the SolidWorks file to my workspace. So I'm basically adding it to my private working space. This is the workspace that it will go in, and I'm also going to set it here to say pull into this workspace the dependents that are required as well. So if I don't need any requirements, dependents, I can also go and say just set it to none, so that it only pulls in an assembly and nothing, say a sub-assembly or component, or just put in everything. This will bring the drawings and so on as well. So I'm going to leave it to require, and I'm going to go to the advanced option on here. So at this stage, I can do a couple of settings here. I can pick on a certain file and say, as I'm downloading this file to my workspace, I want this one to be checked out in that process. What checked out does is it simply locks this file to me. So at this stage, other people can still access this file to view it and so on, but they won't be able to modify it because it is checked out to me. It is locked out for modification to me. All right. And what I will do is I'm going to go and say, yes, I'm adding this to the workspace. Once the addition is complete, it must automatically open it with Solidworks. So at this stage, I don't have Solidworks open. I'm just going to go ahead and add the files to the workspace. The other important thing is at the bottom here, I can see it tells me that the files have been started editing them. They were successfully added to the workspace. If there is any error, it will be listed on here. I'll know exactly why I couldn't add the files to the workspace. And you'll also see that in the process, it has fired up Solidworks. So it is going to open up that assembly in Solidworks for me. So we'll wait for that to open. And obviously, once the file is now open, you can start working with this file. So my Solidworks assembly is open. At this stage, I can interact with my Solidworks model. You can zoom it, zoom out, you can rotate it. So an important thing I wanted to bring to your attention at this stage is if I go back to the workgroup manager and I go to the workspace area here, you will see that all the assemblies and the items are now added onto my workspace. So at any given time, I can simply just click on this icon here, and then it will automatically open that file in Solidworks for me. And I can also see that I have one file that's been checked out. And if I sort of hover my mouse over that file, it tells me that this file is checked out to me. And the other users, it will also tell them that the file is usually checked out to a specific user. So if you need to work on that file, you can easily contact that user because you know exactly who's got the file checked out. So the one thing that I wanted to mention in Solidworks is you will notice that because Windchill, Solidworks has been registered with Windchill, it automatically adds a PDC Windchill ribbon to Solidworks. So I can simply from here, without going to the workgroup manager, I can simply check out, check in, revise from here, and I can also open files from Windchill. So if I click on open from Windchill, it will then go loads and open dialog that shows me the Windchill workspace. And from here, I can browse to Windchill even, products, a Solidworks product, a specific folder to get to where the data is. So this is the normal file open that you get in any tool. So that is that. So if I switch back to Solidworks, so what we've done at this stage, we've opened up Solidworks from the workgroup manager, but the vice versa also works. So I can basically open up Solidworks and it will automatically open up the workgroup manager for me. It will prompt me to log into the workgroup manager, basically log into Windchill. And once you've done that, it will then open up Solidworks. Then you never have to use workgroup manager. You can simply work from this PDC ribbon to open and create new items. So at this stage, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to create a new CAD file in Windchill. And so something to mention is if I already have the file sitting somewhere on my local machine that I need to also save into Windchill, at this stage I can open it up in Solidworks, and then from there just save it into Windchill, and that will be introduced as new data in Windchill. Right. So to create a new data, I'm being asked which product am I saving it in. So that is the default product I'm going to be saving it in. And then I can also go and mention if I'm creating an assembly, a CAD part, or a drawing. I'm creating a CAD part in this case, and I can go and specify a template for it. So Windchill has got default templates for all these different CAD tools. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one here, and then I can go and give it a name. I'm just going to give it a webinar part. And something to note is the number is auto-generated by the system. So you can customize Windchill to generate a number based on a specific sequence. If you need to put something as part of that name, you can also configure it to do that. Or I can also enable it to allow me to specify a number as I'm creating my file. And based on my revision scheme, I can also set it to start at a specific revision. So in this case, the scheme that I have starts at A, so I'm going to leave it at that. But if I want this specific file to start at D, I can specify D in here, and then it will start from there. Especially if you bring in legacy data and you want to make sure that it is at the right revision, so that the revision reflects the correct revision in your drawing. You can use this function here to set that. And once I've done that, I'm just going to go ahead and create my new part. So a part is created, and again, you get notified on the side here that the part has been created. And I'm going to quickly go and sketch just something simple on here. It's fine. Fine. Sorry, I'm just gonna create something simple here. And once that's done, I can basically just go and save this. And I'll see at the bottom here, it tells me that my component has been saved. So at this stage, just to show you what's happening in the workspace, if I jump back to the Workgroup Manager here, this is the new file that we've created, a webinar part. You'd see that this is the number that's been generated for it. And this simply tells us that this is the new component. Even if you hover over it, it's a new component. It is at this stage modified locally. So at this stage, I can go and either upload this file from here or check it in directly from here into Windchill. Or I can just from the Solidworks here, I can simply go and just auto check in this file. And you'll see that it starts by uploading the file, and then it starts to check it in. And then once it's checked in, it will let us know that the file has been checked in successfully. So if we go into the system and search for this file, we will be able to find it. Or the next person who needs to work on this file, they would now be able to work on it because it is already in Windchill. So if I perhaps go back to this here, you would see that our file now has been checked in and available for other users to use. Okay, so then the next thing I wanted to just show on here is if I just go in as a different user. So I'm logged in as a different user. If I go to that specific product, the folder view of that product, It is just taking long to get there, but wait. All right, so if we go to the folder view of that, we are able to see the part of the new component that we've created, the webinar part we've created. It is in there. It's an A1 revision. So if I were to go in and check this file out again and check it in, it will go from A1 to A2. So now if I go to the machine gun folder here, I want to just show you something. Let's just switch this to only see the CAD. So if you look in here on this particular component here, it shows that this file has been checked out to someone. And if I hover over it, it will tell you that it is checked into myself. So if you need to work on it, or you want me to just unlock it, you know exactly who's got the file checked out, and you can actually do that. And then the other thing I wanted to show is if I just go to the details page of any of this object in Windchill, and all the parameters are listed on here. So I can see who modified this file and when was it done. And there's also an important part here, which is a life cycle. So a stage in which my object would live. So at this stage, it is in work state. If I need to release it for manufacturing, I'll have to either set state to release, or with a formal process, I can go ahead and create a promotion process for this, and then it will then move my items to released. The other thing we've mentioned again is on this image here, as you check in components into Windchill, it basically creates what you call a lightweight version of the file. And with that file, if I'm looking for something, I know how it looks, but I don't know the number, I can just go through the list of items in my folder, and then by just hovering over, let's go back here to this folder. Then by hovering over these items here, I'll be able to see how the item look. And the other thing is I can also interact with it from here to see, okay, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And while I'm here, I can also see where this item is being used. I can click on it. It will then go and load a top level assembly. And then with that top level assembly, it also shows me what this top level assembly uses, or what components are used to build up this complete assembly on here. And then if I go to just the information of it again, you would see at this stage my version is actually on A2. That means there was modification done on this file and was checked in. And the nice thing that Windchill does is it keeps the history trail. So if I want to see how this item looked at 8.1, I am able to access that 8.1. At this stage, or as default setting, I won't be able to modify it, but I can be able to see it. But there's cases where the customer would want to be able to supersede A2 with A1. So there's a configuration in Windchill where you can, or preference, where you can set it to say, modify non-latest iterations. Then you are able to simply just do that. So revert back to A1 and carry on from there. Yep, that is that. And then because this is an assembly, it will also have a structure. And a structure looks exactly the same as how it would look in Solidworks. So it's the top level assembly and then its sub-components below it. So this is all the items that are in there. So at this stage, if you look at this assembly, it is still in work. So let's go through a formal process of releasing this assembly. So to do that, I will go and create a new promotion request. So I'm gonna go ahead and initiate a promotion request. And then I should be able to give in to give it a name. So you can give it a name. You can also specify things like need by. So if you need this by next week Friday, a day or so before, if it's not approved yet, a day before the need by date, the approver will be reminded to go in and just approve it. There's also a rich text area here where you can specify instructions and so on as part of this. The internet links that you might want to add as part of the promotion. And the next step of it is the actual files that we are promoting. So at this stage, it is this top level assembly, but we want to go ahead and also connect those subcomponents that makes up this assembly, because we need to release those as well. So as part of this initial release, so we select all and do that. So if there is any drawings, any documents that are related to this assembly that we also want to promote, we can also do that. So all the items are now selected, so I can go and say I want this set to released, and then I mark all my items for this promotion released. And the next stage on this is where I go and say who has to approve this. Who has to approve this? And with the roles that I showed, so with the roles that we have here, so if you are part of the promotion approver role, you will automatically receive that task. But I can also go and specify who has to approve it. In this case, I'm selecting myself as an approver, and then I complete this exercise. So I select that user as an approver. And then what will happen at this stage? The approver will either receive an email notifying them that they need to approve a certain task, or they will receive a task in my tasks table here. So I'm logged in as Ephraim, so I'm just going to refresh my page here. Any time from now, I should receive that task. So it is still in the workflow. Okay, much why it's taking long to come through, but the task will come through, and then I will then approve that task. And once that's approved, I can basically go back as this user here, and then from this, once it's released, I can go into the system as this user, and then simply create a BOM out of this, just a BOM, and export my BOM to Excel or PDF or anything like that. So you'll see if I just expand this. This is the BOM that I have, and there's also the quantity of all the items that are in here. And from this table here, I can simply go to Action drop down on the list here, export, and export this to Excel. You'll see that the Excel file is being downloaded here. I'm going to go ahead and open this up in Excel. So this is your BOM, a complete Excel BOM that the purchasing department can actually go in and export themselves. So they don't have to rely on the engineering team to get this information. So as part of the promotion workflow, right at the end, when the promotion is being approved, there can be a task that basically says, notify the procurement department that the BOM for this particular product is ready to be exported out. Then they can go and export this out. And if things like material, description, diameter size, and so on is also needed or captured in Windchill, that can also be extracted out as part of the BOM export. So that simply means not only engineering can use Windchill PM tool, all the different departments can. So procurement would need to get the BOM, so they will need access to just get that information out themselves. And the other thing that we can also do as the shop floor technicians, what we can also do is, I've shown you this small images on here. So what I can also do is open this lightweight view that you see, open it in a tool called Create Your View. So this is especially for non-CAD users. I'll open it in a Create Your View or lightweight viewer tool. It is just opening on another screen. I will bring it up to the main screen just now. This is the Create Your View tool that I'm talking about. So the guys on the shop floor, if they are not sure about anything on the actual drawing, they can simply go and open up this model in Create Your View. So they won't be able to modify it from this tool, but they can be able to open it up, interrogate it. If, for an example, the drawing doesn't show them the size of the diameter there, the whole diameter there, they can simply, from this tool, go into the markup and simply set that to that, and then it gives them the diameter for that. So I can do that for that as well. It gives me information about that one there. So they can simply do this, or during design reviews, this tool can be used to redline and mark up the model. Just before you approve something, in this review, I can go and add things like notes to tell them to change things on this. Can go add a couple of things that they can actually go and change. So the complete design review process, and simply go and save this back as an annotation set into Windchill. Then it will save that annotation against this particular file, and the next person will be able to open up those annotations and see exactly what sort of changes has to be made. So it can be used as a communication tool. And the nice thing is, because it is saved back into Windchill, you've got that trail as well. You know why something was changed, and you have a visual representations of that as well. So yeah, that is the last thing I wanted to show on here. Right, so at this stage, I'm going to open up the floor for questions. If there is any questions, I'll also go to and check in the questions panel to see if there's any questions. I don't see any questions in there, but if you do have questions at this stage, please go ahead and just pop them in that question section. All right, if there is no other question, we'll go ahead and move on to the next slide. Yeah, so just wanted to mention that we also offer trainings, and obviously because of COVID at this stage, all our trainings are offered visually. So we can do that, and it's not only PDC trainings. If you require a custom training for this, we can actually build that for you and have a workshop and a hand-holding process to make sure that we sort of do a proper job in handing over the system to you. And again, for just if you need to check our full training schedule, you can simply go to support.trainingpdc.com. You'll be able to see all the classes in there. And then lastly, just as a reminder, is that for any technical questions, you can reach out directly to me at that email address for sales queries, sales@boundarieseize.com. And also you can visit our website and our YouTube channel. I see we have a question from Hendrik. He's asking about the cost. Hendrik, I will get salesperson to reach out to you and provide that information for you. So the best option would be to have obviously a discussion and have maybe a demo if you require another demo on this, and then we can take it from there. But salespeople should be able to share that information with you. I'll make sure that I get salesperson to just reach out to you and provide that information. All right. Okay, so at this stage, I would like to thank everyone for your time, and thank you for attending our webinar today. And as I've said, if you need to come back to this webinar and rewatch it, get some information out of it, it will be on our YouTube channel by tomorrow, probably this time. You'll be able to access it. And yeah, you can always reach out to me or sales for any demo requests or any questions related to this. So as last thing to add is that what I've shown you with SolidWorks, it can also be achieved with other tools like Inventor, AutoCAD, NX, and so on. Thank you, everybody, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.